All right. So, Sammy, I graded your day one and day two homework, and it was awesome. Day one, you had 17 out of 19. Day two, you had 100%. So, well done on that, which now we can move to day three, no problem. So, day three, um, when you look at it, it's converting units. Not only is this important in math, but you'll see it a lot in science down the road. So, over here, you'll see your conversion chart, right? You'll see the chart where right away you'll see all the liquid measures. So you'll see all your liquid measures, your linear measures, right? And then your weight. So all the conversions are there. For instance, you should know by now that 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. All right, you should definitely know that 1 pound is 16 ounces being a wrestler. All right, so now we're going to be converting from different units. Okay, now here's the thing, rule of thumb, couple of rules, and we're going to go through some examples here. When you convert from small to bigger units, generally we will divide, okay? And what do I mean by that? Okay, how many yards are in 48 feet? Well, if there's 1 yard, if 1 yard is equal to 12 inches, oh, excuse me, 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. How many yards are there going to be in 48 feet? Now, you can set up a proportion here. 1 yard to 3 feet is equal to how many yards in 48 feet? Now, when I cross multiply here, I get 3x equals 48. And now when I divide by 3, I get x equals 16. There are 16 yards, right, in 48 feet. Now, personally, I just go ahead and divide, right? I know if there's 1 yard is equal to 3 feet, right? Here's 3 feet, so that's 1 yard. And how many times am I going to do this, right? 48 divided by 3 is 16 times, okay? Now, what happens if we go from a big unit to a smaller unit? And what we mean by that is we know 1 gallon is bigger than a quart. So a gallon is bigger than a quart. So that means we're going from a big unit to a small unit. And when we do this, generally you multiply. So how many cups are in 6 quarts? Well, if I look, 1 quart is equal to 4 cups. So if I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I have 6 quarts, and I have 4 cups in this, 4 cups in this, 4 cups in this, 4 cups, 4 cups, 4 cups. The easiest way is to say 6 quarts is equal to 6 times 4, which would be 24 cups. Now again, you could set a proportion up here, right? I could say, oh, this is acting up. All right, I could easily say, right? Why is it jumping on me? Let me make it bigger. All right, so I could easily say 1 quart is equal to 4 cups, which is equal to 6 quarts is equal to how many cups, right? So when I cross multiply here, C times 1 is C, equals 6 times 4 is 24. So there are 24 cups in 6 quarts. Now, to convert from one unit of measure to another, you're going to multiply by a conversion factor that will eliminate the starting unit and result in the desired unit. Meaning, convert 3 meters to centimeters. So we know 3 meters. Now if we go up to the conversion table, right? 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. So right now we know with 3 meters, right, is equal to, right now I know I need the units to cancel out. So I know 100 centimeters is equivalent to 1 meter. Okay, so when I look at this, right, 3 meters is equal to 3 times 100. Oh, sorry, we're multiplying here. 3 meters times 100 is 300 centimeters. Okay. But what happens if I want to do days into seconds? Okay. Now, if I want to do days in a second, 2 days times, we go up here, and it might not have it. All right. So we have 2 days times how many hours are in a day? So we know 24 hours is equal to 1 day. Right now, I need these days to cancel out. Now, 2 times 24, that would give us the number of hours, but we need seconds, right? So now, how do I cancel out the hours? 1 hour is equal to how many minutes? 60 minutes. If you look, hours cancel out here. And now I'm going to say 1 minute is equal to, that's times 60 seconds. And if I look, minutes cancel out. So here, days cancel out. Here, hours cancel out. Minutes cancel out. And all I'm going to do is multiply across there, right? So I'm basically going to take 2 times 24 times 60 times 60, and you get, I'm multiplying all these together, and you get 172,800 seconds. So that is a little bit more challenging, right, than up here. Okay, so let's look at a couple of examples here. For these conversions, 300 seconds is equal to how many minutes? Well, we know 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. So that is going to equal how many minutes in 300 seconds? Now, what you have to notice and separate is when I look at number 3, right, that is not using a proportion. So 300 seconds equals how many minutes? Now I can cross multiply here, right? So I have 60m equals 300 times 1 is 300. When I divide by 60, right, I get 5 minutes. There are 5 minutes in 300 seconds. All right, so when we set these up, the big thing you have to understand is the order in which, if I look, when I set the proportion up, seconds in the denominator, minutes in the numerator. So over here, 72 inches is equal to how many feet? We know 1 foot is equal to how many inches? 12 inches. That's going to equal how many feet, and I'm going to put F for feet, in 72 inches. And if you look, inches in the denominator, feet in the numerator. Now I can solve this proportion. So cross multiply, 12F equals 1 times 72 is 72. Divide by 12, and the number of feet is equal to 72 divided by 12 is 6. There are 6 feet in 72 inches. 42 feet is equal to how many yards? So remember, I set I go up here, I look for the conversion, feet to yards. 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. So 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. That should equal how many yards? I'm going to put Y for yards is equal to 42 feet. Now, I'm going to ignore these units in a way, right? And do 3 times Y is 3Y. 1 times 42 is equal to 42. And when I divide by 3, I get y is equal to 14. So there are 14 yards in 42 feet. Okay? Again, we're not multiplying like the other one above. Now, 1 kilometer is equal to how many millimeters? Well, here's the thing. 1 kilometer up above, 1 kilometer is equivalent to, if I go up here, 1 kilometer is equal to 1,000 meters. So right now we're just going to do is equal to 1,000 meters. And then right away, I know I got to get to millimeters. Okay, so how can I do that? Well, if I set up a proportion, there's no direct correlation between kilometers, right, to millimeters. So this is where I have to go and multiply by the conversion factors. So the proportion here is not going to work. All right, so what am I going to do here? 1 kilometer is times, if I look, 1 kilometer is equal to how many? And I go up here. 1 kilometer is equal to 1,000 meters. Now, right away, when I multiply, these cancel out. Now, when I multiply here, I have to cancel out meters. So 1 meter, those cancel out. 1 meter up here is equal to 100 centimeters. So I'm going to put 100 centimeters here. I'm going to work through that conversion chart all the way until I get to millimeters. So now 1 centimeter, these cancel out, is equal to how many millimeters? 100. All right, and then, 10 millimeters. What did I make? So now all I do, right away, that's my ending units. So 1 times 1,000 times 100 times 10, there is 1 million millimeters in 1 kilometer. Now 1.5 tons. If I look here, 1 ton is equal to 2,000 pounds. So this you could probably do in your head, no problem. 1.5 tons is equal to, right? 1.5 tons is equal to, excuse me. I don't know. For me personally, like the tough part about this is I know logically, if there's 1.5 tons and 1 ton is equal to 2,000 pounds, right? I just logically think 1 pound or 1 ton is going to be 2,000 pounds. A half a ton is another 1,000 pounds because it's half of that. For how many total pounds? 3,000. Okay, so that's why sometimes these are tough for me because I logically think and it's hard to break down. Now 3 miles is equal to how many yards? Well, 3 miles times 1 mile is equal to how many feet? So if I go up here, miles is in feet, so it's 5,280 feet. Now, that cancels out miles, but now I have to go from yards to feet. So, how many feet are in a yard? So 3 feet, right? Feet cancel out here is equal to 1 yard. Well, when I do this, I'm going to multiply across the top, then I'm going to multiply across the bottom. What you notice here is I get 3 times 5,280, 3 times 5,280, and then I have to divide that by, so that's going to give me 15,840 divided by this 3, which is 5,280 yards. So for the rest of the notes, for the backside, Instead of continue with the video, I'm going to just go ahead and put the solutions up. And I want you to try them and check your answers.